And that's the beauty in when you are open to change, but you might not know you are. So even like in your work, you're an impact coach in performance, right? So uh, when you're working on impact, one of the things that may be blocking the impact that you want to achieve is something that's blocked, that's packed down, that needs to be released.
Yeah.
And so what is so interesting about the whole thing is when you, and here's the other thing, we're not going to leave this part out, when you put prayer out there. So
Oh,
praying on certain
girl.
things and asking God to bring, not bring things because, but just to put me in alignment with my truth.
Build $1,000,000 legacy with purpose.
Here we go. We live. Hey, 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 hey. Like big energy in the room right now.
Right now.
Like hey, listen, we started off with baby energy.
We
When
really
we first got on this call, we we started off with baby energy. So like now we done worked our way up to big energy in the house. Here we go, Tamiko. I ain't yet let's get to introductions out of the way.
yeah.
We already done got into the conversation in the green room. I know y'all be wanting to get into our green room. Like that might happen one day. So, just be patient.
Yes. Yeah.
Like invoke your Ishmael. Be patient. Wait for Isaac. Like
Right now, I hear what
I am Dr. Marnita on
Minister.
fire. I'm Dr. Marnita on fire. Having the conversations for convos for your calling on our platform. Build $1,000,000 legacy with purpose. And I am an achievement and performance coach. And I am so happy to be here yet another Tuesday with my girl, my confidant. I can pick up a phone and call her at any time, my girl. Girl, take it away.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, my sister. And I am Tamiko Ruby J. Really feeling good about being here today. This is really awesome how this whole conversation and $1,000,000 purpose is coming together. I am a Reiki master teacher and also a spiritual mentor and coach. And you get to see it live as we do it here on this beautiful platform with my sister.
They get to see it real raw.
They get to see it raw.
These conversations be bringing some things into alignment because what happens is I'll shoot Tamiko a text and say, "What do you think about having a conversation about this?" And she'll send, like this last week, she sent me a picture and I didn't completely understand the picture. So she had to I said, "Can you explain this picture to me, please?" I sent a text to her Wednesday. We just figured that part out.
Yeah.
And she started to explain the picture to me. But we said some things about it in the green room, but I think it's so much in alignment with what the title of the conversation is going to be about today, which is the reasonable attitude of achievement. And we've
And
already,
again, because it sounds like you said reasonable, but it's unreasonable.
oh yeah, let me say that again. It
Yeah.
is the unreasonable attitude of achievement. And I do hope you remember, for those of you who are keeping up with us, I do hope you remember how we defined attitude. I don't know if it was in our last episode or the one before, but attitude being a psychological orientation towards something which is connected to our beliefs, our feelings, and our behavior towards that thing. And so I think this is going to be an amazing conversation as we begin to unfold some stories of what unreasonable may look like. And it's definitely, Tamiko, one thing I just got this unction to say, it definitely is not gonna make you feel comfortable when you're being unreasonable? Because we always try to reason things out, like the stuff to make us feel good. Like we don't unreasonable don't care nothing about your feelings.
Well, and that's why this particular I'm going to say situation that just happened is going to be a perfect example of this, because someone else hearing it would be like, oh, wow, you do that, that's so cool. It is an unreasonable attitude of achievement, because it
Mm.
sounds like, wow, that's so cool and this and that, but where I'm at in my walk now, it just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Right, and we can go into that on just on many levels, but yeah, and oh, and I wanted to give this side of the you were going to say something.
I was.
Go ahead.
Because I kind of like have some context of the story that she's going to share with you. But I want to say this before you share it with them, Tamiko, as I'm thinking through this, there are some things that I came up with. And one of the things about being unreasonable is you have the ability to reverse engine, like to truly,
Mhm.
we may say this all the time, you are positioned so well that you had the ability to truly reverse engineer that situation from the end.
Yeah, but that's why we do this work, you know. That's why you do the work, because when you're in it, and even throughout the process, I was going but to give the backstory on the sending the picture, is because we the way we work normally is you send the suggestion on the title, it's a thumbs up, it's a heart, you know, and that's an automatic. But what I realized is that I had opened it, or it had opened, I hadn't even seen it, right, but it opened probably because I hadn't closed our last conversation, who knows, but it had been a minute since I read it and since I responded. So that's why I was like, yes, heart, go. And then here's what I'm doing. So it would, because, you know, after my little meltdown on episode 7, if y'all want to hear about that last season, um, I try to stay consistent with getting right back to you. Right. So when I sent the pit, I was actually, the picture was, I was in tech rehearsal for um CIM, Cleveland Institute of Music, was having a opera this weekend. And a dear friend and colleague was the costume designer that asked me to basically help her out and design wigs and makeup. And before you ask, hell no, I am not. I retired. It is, remember we said unreasonable, unreasonable. I am in my soft life doing spiritual coaching, floating through life softly. That's a lot of work. Okay. So I took the picture and sent it to Dr. Marnita. It was like, and I don't even know if I gave you a caption. I just sent it like, this is my
You did.
current.
That's why I'm like so unclear, but I didn't. I said, I'll ask her next week.
Yeah. And that's because I was in it. I said, oh, just as this is in rehearsal for the whole text don't even make sense.
Like I didn't even. I didn't get that. She said, just as this in rehearsal for the opera. I'm like, listen, I didn't have time to like reply. So I had to ask her the question today because we started talking about it again. And she was really telling me the story. I said, can you unpack this picture for me? Because I'm so
I
confused.
forgot I sent it to you. I was like, what? I was like, oh. But that's when you it's something that it's like, but your text was super cool at the time that it came, because it was like, oh yeah, this is where you are in life right now. Now you up here in like Hayes Hell Week for theater. Okay, because that's what it feels like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um, but yeah, and it all worked out. It was beautiful. Everybody was like, yes, 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 great. And what show are you working on next? Uh,
None.
none. Here's my contact
Tamiko,
person.
I think the audience, because everybody don't know you and what you used to do.
Hmm.
There was this lady who called you out of nowhere based on her experience with you when you was all in it, not doing
Right.
the
She's
soft
a
lighting of it. You were
right.
actually all in it, all 10 down on the ground in it. And so
Right.
she knew of you based on what you had produced at a high level. And she wanted your insight, expertise, and experience in this area. And she
Mhm.
called you and you,
She texted me. She texted me
okay, she
because I
texted.
think she texted me because I'm sure she was like, it would have been easier
But
had
you
I
gave her,
read.
the thing is, you gave her a yes before you even knew what she wanted. And as I'm continuing to think through this, as we're having this conversation, that's like one of these concepts of having an unreasonable attitude towards achievement comes into play. Like, even though you hadn't arrived on the scene based on your experience in that area, you were able to see what she wanted before you even said yes. I think that's amazing.
Yes, thank you. Because I know her level of expertise. You know, she's one of the top costume designers in this area. Um, Often commissioned out to New York, also works in other areas. So what was so beautiful about it, because of the respect that I have for her and her art, because of the respect that I have for her and who she is and how she shows up, for her to text me with what I read in the long text was, look, I need help. This is a situation. Um, and I'm not going to anybody else. I'm coming to you. Okay. Like, I know you could do this. And it was an automatic yes. Like, because I knew in this work that I do, if she's coming to me, it's because she don't have time for the riffraff. Like, she don't have time. Like, and you know, the beautiful thing is it's an opera, so it's a beautiful piece. It's usually what we call in the theatric world is a period piece. So there's going to be a lot of interesting hair, and or the makeup was easy. I showed the student, they were able to do it themselves. So yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good and able to be done. So, but what you said, like, yeah, an unreasonable, attitude of achievement. I didn't even think about I didn't even think about it until after I gave the yes. After I gave the yes is when I started to think about it. Like, and because once I gave the yes, then I got the schedule, and I was like, "Oh my, okay, we're in it. We're in it." You know.
And the thing about that, I think, because I've been thinking about this all week, when you're able to have to get out of your paradigm of operating,
Hmm.
your yield your yield is so much greater. Your yield of your level of productivity is so much greater
Hmm.
because now you're not relying on what you know works. You're not relying on what you know works well.
Right, that part. And I have another part of this to the story. And this speaks to my career now. But I had just said, I kid you not, I was talking to a friend, and I think I was even talking to my mom, and I said, I really miss being around artists. Like, those are my people. They are so much fun. That text came through within 48 hours. So that was another reason why the yes was an automatic, because I was like, you put it out there. You wished on it.
Right.
Okay. And my
Are
connection,
you saying that you actually put it out there?
I actually said it. I actually said I miss working around artists. I miss working around creative people. Okay. Um, because
That's
it,
interesting because that
it
speaks to
you
another of the elements of that
yeah.
I was going to talk about. See, she's unfolding all of my elements right now,
Hmm.
which is I'm gonna see how this lands with you, because Tamiko don't even know what I'm gonna say, right? I'm gonna see how this lands with you. Well, what I wanted to inject in this conversation was to radically change your environment. So what you're sharing with me,
Yep.
you didn't really do it on in a physical state. You did it in a mental state, and you kind of like changed it within and manifested without. Like it showed up for you.
Yep. Within, I kid you not, it had to be within a 48 to 72 hour turnaround time. Okay. That's what also brought on the, because one of the things people will notice, even in closing emails a lot, I'll put, and remember, energy goes where the mind flows. So
Mm.
I was in that very creative mindset of community, because trying to establish what does community look like in a holistic world of healed people.
Mm.
Okay, because the beauty in it, this came up. I was reading something and it said hurt people, but
Right.
heal people, and I'm like, ooh, right. Um, and so in the time where, what I realized in that world, what was so fun about that world was, the beautiful thing about artists, they so much, they're so complicated, right? You imagine, you know, here's somebody that can keep a whole, what we call orient, like a whole um story, a 3 hour story, usually an opera in a different language, and be able to sing that whole thing for 3 hours and keep that in their mind on key. Their voice is their instrument, right? Along with all the other stuff that may be going on in life. And that's why when we're seeing right now, I feel in the whole entertainment um, world, why it can be so um, disruptive and dark in places and weird stuff going on, because there's a lot to that, right? And so when I was in that world over 20 years ago, well, not 20 years ago, but in that world strong 20 to 25 years, I was in a different place, because I was that person that I was healing, needing healing. So I was a giver, because when you really want to be loved, or you really want to heal, but really to be loved, a lot of times what you can switch that into is wanting to be needed, or needing to be needed, right?
Yeah.
So, and again, I like beautiful things. So needing to be needed by beautiful beings and makes fun and having a good time, and just in an unrealistic world, well, in a creative world of make believe and all of that, it was fun. But returning to it after being away from it for almost 7 years, it was kind of like, whoa, this is different.
But that, this is so amazing. Like when you said to yourself, I don't know if you said it to yourself silently or if you
Mhm.
said it to yourself aloud, I miss having the opportunity to work with creative people. That put into effect a disruption of a thought pattern for you, which brought about behaviors that made space for for a different perspective to your life. And with an event that happened to come, it was moving your way. Like, listen, that's so amazing. It was already moving your way. And so it opened up the space for a different perspective and solutions that you can still add value to this particular, and which is what you did,
Mhm.
add value to this particular event. I think that's, girl, you see how that just happened? I think that is so amazing.
Exactly. Thank you. And we all have that. And that's the beauty in when you are open to change, but you might not know you are. So even like in your work, you're an impact coach in performance, right? So what when you're working on impact, one of the things that may be blocking the impact that you want to achieve is something that's blocked, that's packed down, that needs to be released.
Yeah.
And so what is so interesting about the whole thing is when you, and here's the other thing, we're not going to leave this part out, when you put prayer out there. So
Oh,
praying on certain
girl.
things and asking God to bring, not bring things because, but just to put me in alignment with my truth. Now I had wrote that. Then I come along with this. I miss working with my artists and my people. Now I still got this open pipeline talking with God. This thing happens. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so glad you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it is the pipeline.
Yeah. So it was pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. And now and then, like again, putting it in the framework of what we're doing, it's like, yeah, here it is, alive and in living color. Because literally, I was just like, wow, wow.
I think it is a big wow.
It was a wow.
Because one thing I know you also did, like in this whole story, which is it's not connected to this particular event that we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
but it's connected to your story. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's connected to many people's stories who decide, like, I need to find out why I'm here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is to completely sever all conventional commitments.
Yep.
And I think you did that when you moved to Arizona. Am I wrong?
You are 100% right. You're 100% right. Because you are 100%.
We're talking about unreasonable right
Yeah.
now. Unreasonable, an unreasonable attitude towards achievement.
So even
I think this one right here.
the Arizona one too, because like again, I was going to sell my business. The deal fell through at the 11th hour. I went anyway, and then got there, and God had told me, my career in the beauty industry had come to a close. Now it was time to move in a different direction, and that was great. And I trust God, but my bank account was looking a little different than I'm used to seeing. And I know, God, it's a lot going on out here. People, there was like wars and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I might be hearing that wrong. I'm not sure. So what do I do? Well, it came easy because I already had connect. Now I ain't know, but two people out there already had a connection with somebody. They got one of the top spas in Arizona, Veda Spa. This woman is calling me up. Hey, I want to talk to you before you do anything. I know. Once again, I know you're not in the industry, but blah 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 blah. Out of what I needed, what I thought I needed to feel comfortable. Because at this point, I'm just out here, right? So I accept this position as an educator at their school, the Aveda Institute in Tempe, and then working at an Aveda spa. I'm not, once again, I'm working harder for somebody else than I have been for myself. I'm like, how in the world did I get here? Another example. So when you brought up Arizona, that was another example. But when I realized I was done, my last day was on Juneteenth. I was free. Anyway, so yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that if you want
to trust God,
to produce a high yield of productivity in any area, it's going to require a mandatory requirement of completely severing conventional commitments.
Yep.
To have a high yield. Now, if you just want to do average, Do what you do.
Do you? That's, hey.
You want to do average, do what you do. We're not talking, listen, we are not talking about average today. We're talking about extraordinary today,
Yep.
beyond anything that you can even think about. That's what we're talking about. And so, like, and we're actually we're learning this lesson through Tamiko's story. And it is no coincidence that title came to mind, because I didn't know we were going to be talking about your story, Tamiko, and everything in your story is revealing, like, although these are elements of unreasonable attitudes towards achievement, they're not all inclusive, but you have like primary major, you're a major model of what one has had to do in order to yield a high level of productivity.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you for that. Thank you. And then being able to step away from it, right? Because again, don't get me wrong, I wasn't just out there doing this because it was like, yeah, I just really love it. It was great money. I mean, I was single with a child, was able to buy my own home in Mayfield, Ohio, had my own business. It was a lot of perks to that, right?
Yeah.
And you know, exposed my child to some things at the time, which brought him into the mix as a uh what is his title? Audio visual engineer.
Interesting.
and,
Interesting.
and he's in corporate, right? Because he also was like, I don't know if I can stay in this crazy world, which I'm glad now that he chose what he chose. But he does this thing, freelancing his own thing. So just all of that, and just like you said, when we look at it, um, and I love the word unreasonable, because we have to ask ourselves, what are we willing to do?
Oh, yeah.
What are we willing to do? Right now, we're looking at some very disturbing situations that is going on in the hip hop world.
Like
But
what? Like, girl, I don't listen to nothing. What's going on?
well, one of the
Like, listen to me. What's going
one
on?
of the major entertainment hip hop gurus, Sean P. Diddy Combs, is
Oh, P. Diddy. I know that one.
yes, that. But a lot of that happened because what people were willing to jeopardize to become
Mm,
famous.
the white parties.
Yes. So you're willing that unreasonable requests that you are going to go along with for achievement. That's a whole nother spectrum. But at some point, again, the beauty in all of this is to thyself be true. Know thyself. I know me now. Like, right? I am so excited because one of the people that I worked with, the costume designer assistant, so her person, new 24 years old, just graduated from college. She was super excited. And it was so funny because she was like, I've heard about you. I was like, girl, I'm an urban legend. I don't exist.
That's funny.
I said, just kidding, just kidding. I won't put that out there. I do exist, but yeah, who we done? So I told her, I said, I'm super excited for you. Here's the thing. If all of these things, I will gift them to you. You said you had somebody that that's a hair person too. And she was like, yeah. I was like, okay, you give me a call, let me know when this stuff is yours. She was like, are you kidding me? I said, yep. No, I'm not kidding you. But again, so she was sitting in an unrealistic, like, is this really happening? Is she really getting ready to give me all of it? It's called gifting. It's called paying it forward. You're new to the industry.
Mm.
Some of these kits cost $300 empty, just for the kit to carry your stuff, you know. But a lot of it was gifted to me because I knew people. So I'm gonna gift it to you, you know.
Nice.
Your career. Enjoy
Pay
your
it
career.
forward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
enjoy your career. So that's the beauty in it. And then on the flip side, if I look at it now, like um un unreasonable attitude towards achievement. Now it's a little different because allowing staying in alignment and allowing the process to build my new career, you know, that takes some time. And there's a part of me sometimes it's like, shouldn't at this age, shouldn't you be thinking about retirement? Why are you trying to build a whole nother career? And I was like, because I'm not tired in the first place. And if I can, these things that we're talking about right now, if I can share this with others, if I can mentor others to be at this place where they are sitting in a soft life, enjoying themselves, healed, loving themselves, being able to sit in peace and or quiet. Oh, this was another part that was so super cool. So you saw that room on the picture. So to give everybody the backstory, we were in like a conference room, okay, and that became like the makeup room. And so there was like 14 college people, young ladies in there, chorus. We got costumes, everything, and I'm trying. And but you know, I had to work in a certain environment. Right now, there was a time that they could have been climbing off the walls. Don't hang off the balcony because I need the light. Okay, just don't. But anything else, I don't care. Let's just as long as we get the show together. But now I ain't in that. Like, so I would get there early, do my little calm breaking room. So people would come in like, it's so calm in here. It's so great in here. Because you would go downstairs and it was like a circus. I kid you not, like Circus Olay. You come upstairs, it's just a zen. It's just as laid back. I was just like, but that was because I set the tone. Like, didn't say anything, just where I was in my spirit. And once they realized, like, I got you, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna work this thing out. You know, of course, you always gonna have one or two that wants to be the center of attraction no matter what. Once I got those two together, like, okay, I see you. Look, I see you. Sit down. Okay, don't bother other people. And no bullying. That was the other thing. We will not have bullying in this space. Okay. All of you are in this show for a reason. There will be no bullying in this space because no one can be a bigger bully than me. So, none of that. Okay. Okay. And it went well. I was like,
That's good.
so once we took that off the menu, it was like, oh, okay. Got so many hugs and so many thank yous from people. It was kind of funny though. I was like, okay, set the example.
You know, since we were talking about having a high yield on our level of productivity, a high yield means that you're yielding something as a result of a reactant or reagent.
Mm,
And the purer the reactant or the reagent, the higher the yield on the product.
I like that.
So if you take for consideration that anytime you start a thing, it's going to require a certain element of operating on an extreme time frame where your time is not necessarily balanced between multiple things. So the focus part has to be purely on the reagent of the things that's going to yield you a high level of product in your level of productivity. So what has to happen if you're being unreasonable, something's going to have to go to the wayside, because once you start to mix them in on the front end, it decreases your level of productivity on the back end, because now you have impurities in your original source.
Mm-hmm.
And impurities is not going to give you the full yield of product.
So
So
the
if you can hyper focus on the things that's going to get you the highest yield, which is going to be an unreasonable amount of time that's allocated to the reagent, the pure reagents that's giving you the yield on your product. And it's going to be unreasonable, where you may think you only have to put 5 hours into that focus time. You may have to put 20 hours, an unreasonable amount of time, unbalanced schedule in the front end, which is your reagents, the things that are reacting together to give you the high yield.
Mhm. Okay. So
So that's what I mean, that's something that I found, like, because I've transitioned through more than a few kind of career changes. And what I found is that in the beginning, when I really, like in the spa, I focused everything. I put everything I had into the reagents of making that thing work.
mhm,
I had to get rid of all of the impurities, all of the extracurriculars, all of the things that's not going to be a catalyst to yield me the highest level of productivity to my success and achievement in that industry at that time.
mhm,
Will it cost you something? Yes, but that's the price you pay.
mhm.
So what do you think about that? About having to be hyper focused on the front end so you can get the highest yield on the back end?
Um, I agree. I mean, it's just what you were saying, and I was going to break that down in layman's terms also, because again, something as simple as starting off, if we want to use the beauty industry, because that's my industry, but it's like the stylists that may start off once they get there, and they're doing all types of hair. I mean, they're doing relaxers, they're doing perms, they're doing relaxers, they're doing haircuts, they're doing color, they're doing weaves. But they realize their niche and what they enjoy doing is hair color. So after all of these different things and these different classes, different things that they've taken, they realize that they can bring their niche down to I'm a colorist. I
Mhm.
I can focus 100% on doing hair color. And then if they're very good at like highlights, or back in the day, they used to call it bleaching, right? Or that they can become that. So it's from that perspective, that's how you would break it down to saying you put in a lot of hours. You have to do 1,600 to get the license or to
Yeah,
be eligible to go take the test for the license. Okay.
yeah.
And then
Mhm.
from that, of course, you're excited. When what you were talking about yielding, and what came to mind as well is I love that I hear the chemist in you when saying that you're bringing all of these elements in, you're putting all of these things into it, and they're coming in, and it's almost like coming into a funnel, but the funnel also has a shifter on it. So all of the good that's going to bring you that pure element, that's going to get you, that's going to give you that trajectory to move towards that design purpose, is all happening because of all of the time that you put in, and again, focus time where you recognize what you need and what you don't. It also speaks to that being able to be still and be quiet, right? Because when you're putting in these type of hours, um so that you don't have sensory overload or spiritual burnout, it's to get quiet so that can also bring things into a centered space.
And that part is really important because I didn't know very much about the whole spiritual, incorporating the spiritual concept into the process back then, nowhere near as much as I know now. And it makes an amazing difference.
Well, it's going to keep you healthy doing it this way.
Yeah.
Okay, because when we operate on pure adrenaline and drive and strive, we're leaving a key element out.
That's true. That is so true.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to do it all by yourself.
We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And if you want to be human, you got free will, have at it. But eventually this thing, this vessel, this temple,
Break down.
it will break down. It will break down. Just like I'm a car girl. Okay. I like cars. I really like cars. Um, and I like trucks. So it hurts my feelings. It hurts my feelings to see a luxury car broke down
Mm, mm.
because they're designed that if you keep them maintenance properly, that will never be a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was so funny because somebody was like, I'm surprised you don't own a luxury car. I said, because I don't have the luxury of having the time to do what I need to do for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That it's you gotta okay. So yeah, yeah, that's a beautiful thing. So I know you got some framework for us. What you got for us
Girl,
on
you know I do, but I want to share one more element before.
okay. Okay.
And that other element is to, like, I'm doing this right now. Y'all know I play pickleball every day, right?
Yes. I was sitting here like shit. Another ball, pickleball. I know she started kind of soft today. Maybe she didn't get her pickleball, but I wasn't gonna mention it. I wasn't gonna mention, but there it is.
Yeah, I played this morning. I played this morning. Yeah, y'all know I play every day, right? So
And you win every day.
I win every day.
Every
Like,
day.
they miss, if I ever don't show up, I'm about to go out of town. It's the holidays, y'all. I'm about to go out of town. So I won't be in Florida's pickleball community. But wherever I'm going, I'm gonna find me a community there and I'm gonna be playing me some pickleball. You better believe that part.
Awesome.
And so this next part is to publicly commit to an impossible deadline.
Okay.
And what I mean by that, so I think I shared it on this platform, is that is my goal. My goal is to do 5 pickleball tournaments in 5 different states
You did.
over the next year for my birthday, right? I did share that publicly.
Yes, you did.
And it says to commit to an impossible, what I perceive to be impossible deadline. And this goes back to what you just said, Tamiko, that like when you involve the character of your spirituality in the process, then it makes things a lot easier because nothing is impossible when you have the experience, the spirit working on your behalf, right?
Right. Correct.
And so I just said it. And so what I did is I told my coach, I have a coach for pickleball.
Okay.
And he works me out like really good. And so I I put it out. It's starting from the end is I see myself playing in these tournaments. So first of all, I got to find a tournament to play in.
It's gonna find you, but continue.
But anyway, I'll pull some offline. And you're right, Tamiko, it did find me
That's it.
because I didn't even have a partner. When I pulled it offline, I didn't even have a partner until I started publicly announcing
There you go.
of what I intended to do.
There you go.
So when I started publicly announcing what I intended to do, this lady said, Marnita, I'll be your partner.
There you go.
Where are we going? I said, let me send you a few. Let's decide. So my first official pickleball tournament outside of Florida, no, in Florida, but it's 3 hours away. It's going to
Okay.
be in Del Rey, Florida in
Yeah.
March.
Okay.
You know it? Girl, I don't even know where Del Rey is. But she said, I'll be your partner. So her and I, we don't know what rank we are because in pickleball, there's like these levels. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, I think up to 5. And she asked me, do you know what your level is. I said, girl, no, I don't know. I just get out there and play. I said, but I know who do know. My coach knows. And I said, he probably know your level too.
Do
So
you guys have the same coach?
yeah,
Okay.
we play the same. He's a former professional tennis player. So
Okay. Got you.
I hire him to coach me in pickleball, and he's really good. Like, I'm like, how do you do that? He said, if you've been playing as long as I have, you can do it too.
There
I said,
you go.
I got you. And so I asked him the other day, I said, I gave her the lady's name and me. I said, we're going to be in a pickleball tournament in March in Del Rey, and we need to know what level we are so we can give the right level so they pair us up accordingly with other people. He said, you're level 3. I said, well, what about Laura? Now she's been playing so much longer than I have. I said, he said, she's level 3 too. I said, Laura? He said, yeah. I'm like, but he said she's level 3.
You heard what the man said. He didn't stutter. Did not.
So y'all publicly announce your goals, because it brings a whole different type of energy.
Yes, it does.
Be
Yes, it does.
unreasonable. Like, so March is only a few months, 4, maybe 4.5 months away.
That's it. That's it. And it'll be here with the blink of an eye.
With the blink of an eye. So announce it, claim it, and everything you need. I didn't have a partner, but I have one now.
Yep.
And you know what she told me too? So Del Rey means it's going to be for a few days. So it's going to be on the 7th, 8th, and 9th of March. And so that means we're going to be driving 3 hours. We're not going to do that every day. So
No.
guess what she told me? Like, look at the spirit working this
You're
out.
gonna stay there. Exactly.
Right. Listen, this is the even better. Look at the spirit working this out. She said, Marnita, I know people in Del Rey. We won't have to pay for an Airbnb or anything like that. We can just stay with them. I'm like, won't he do it?
There you go. That's what I'm saying. You guys are gonna stay there.
Unreasonable.
That's it. That's it. And when it's in alignment, that's what happens. Everything will continue to align in a way, like those type of things I have grown to recognize and expect.
And expect. But you know what, Tamiko? I do expect, but it's just, it always throws me aback when it happens. I mean,
It feels
listen, I don't doubt it. Don't get me wrong. And I
no,
don't know if
I
I'm
know you're
saying
not doubting
this
it.
well.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying this well, but every time it happens, I start cracking up.
Yep. And I mean, and that's me. I do this because we're headed to Chicago this weekend. One of my really good friends. And so she was like, so what's the plan? Because she was like, I know where I want to stay. I said, well, you do all that part. And so then, and I said, and I got the rest. And so she was like, all right, so cool. So what are we doing? What's the plan? And because we're going to be there from Friday till Monday. And I said, don't worry about it. I got this plan. Because my thing is, I haven't planned anything other than for us to get there. And then I want to show her this is a major city. They were on lockdown for, you think, Cleveland, and I know Chicago. So the idea, like, getting there is the beginning, but it's what is going to allow. We're going to be in the space to allow whatever's going to happen to happen. Okay. We got to play. We have an amazing place to stay, and now we're going to have fun. That's the plan, to have fun. You know, because oftentimes people always are scheduled. I checked on a couple of things that I might go on and book. We'll see. Because I really like the idea of flowing. Like I want her to experience everything doesn't have to be on a schedule.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that part.
Everything does not have to be on a schedule.
Yeah.
And having the spontaneous, the idea that let's get there. Unrealistic. Okay, that could seem unrealistic attitude of achievement. We are going to achieve an actual, absolutely amazing girl weekend in Chicago.
She has no idea what's about to happen.
She has no idea, but I can tell you what, she excited because I stopped by her place and she's like, I want you to see my outfits. outfits? What we doing? She done went and bought a wardrobe. I was cracking up. I said, okay, girl. She was like, I'm getting my manicure, pedicure tomorrow. I said, well, you know it's Chicago, so it's gonna be cold. Are you gonna have your toes out? No, but I just want to be ready. I said, okay. But
Yeah.
I love that because I haven't seen her this excited about anything in a while, you
Nice.
know. So yeah, I was cracking up. I said, did she say outfits?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
That's good.
Yeah. And she was like, well, don't worry about it. I got it. Because I feel like we earn that. And I think for me, because having been in an industry where you're on a schedule, people book appointments.
Yeah.
So when I'm on my spare time, if I don't want everything scheduled. I don't like living life as a tourist. Tourists schedule everything. I'm not doing that. I'm experiencing whatever's happening. Let's experience it. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah, we're going there to be there. How about that?
Right.
So,
Love that.
yeah,
Yeah, I do have a framework.
awesome.
This is a simple one. I think they are all simple, but this is a real simple one. Like this gonna
Okay, let's see.
I'm like, you're gonna say, yeah, Marnita, this is a simple one.
Okay.
So the first one is self-aware, self-awareness. In order to have the ability to be unreasonable, you have to be self-aware.
What's the I don't know. Did you do an anonym?
All self, there's no anonym. Okay,
Oh,
so the first one is self-aware.
okay. It's also okay, gotcha. Okay.
So I think this all has to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
So self-awareness is going to allow you to have the capacity to actually be unreasonable, to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, because this is going to take, this is going to be probably the biggest obstacle is self-discipline.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Self, the follow-through is amazing. Like that's amazing in and of itself. If you've ever been through anything and you didn't produce as high as of a yield on your level of productivity as you would have liked to have produced, I guarantee you it was a lack of self-discipline. I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. 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 True.
And then the last one is self-control. Self-control. So our blueprint for executing on an unreasonable attitude of achievement is being self-aware, self-discipline, self-control.
You're right. It's easy. It's
I
easy to
told you
say. It's
it's
easy to
easy.
say. It's
Oh, well, yeah, it's
exercise.
easy to say.
It's easy to
Um,
say.
Now to follow through on all of that, all those three, it's I can't even get it out. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I'm leaning there like, okay. Okay.
It's a lot.
Yep, it is. It is. But it's worth it.
It is.
It's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it. And especially now, because we're in a time right now where a lot of things are changing. A lot of things are changing. And because of the element of change that's just we're faced with as a people,
Yeah.
this is around the world. This is not just here in America, but as a people, the element of change that is shifting. I think that that's another beautiful thing that allows us to be able to manifest in such an amazing way. So being conscious, being very conscious and aware of where your mindset is right now
Mm-hmm.
is huge. And especially Listen, folks, we are in the holiday season.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is next week. And I would ask everybody that is listening today, now, will listen, whenever they listen, to give yourself a moment and think about it. Think deep. Go to your core and allow yourself to think about and actually write it down.
Mm.
Three things, whatever day you write it on. And it might be an exercise you might want to do to take you into the new year. 3 things that you are truly thankful and grateful for. 3 things. Can't repeat the same thing. Okay. And watch how it also brings about an amazing attitude of achievement, because it brings you things that you've done or where you're at. So when that unreasonable stuff, which is like, this is, it's another balancer. It's a great balancer. Because sometimes when we're in life, or we're lifing, I love that one too.
Right.
It can seem a little crunchy.
Yeah.
Right? Or it can just seem amazing.
And you just said something. Unreasonable is something you have to put yourself into. It just don't show up.
That's it. That's it. When it makes you that discomfort. And what's unreasonable, that's what we were talking about earlier too. What's unreasonable for me might not be unreasonable for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It might not, right? Again, I'm sure when I present this opportunity to some people that I know that are in the beauty industry, like, hey guys, did you know this opportunity is available? If you want to become a possible wig and hair stylist for film and theater, that opportunity is available right here in Cleveland. Okay, there's
Yeah.
a lot of film here, because the one thing about Northeast Ohio, Cleveland, even though we're a major city, they can shut down downtown in a moment's notice for 2-3 hours to get a film shot. That's why all of these Marvel comics are being shot here. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want a city scene, you go here. You drive 20-30 minutes away, you got the country.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. And Lord knows the sun is gonna do whatever it wants to do here. So if you
Right.
got a sound
Exactly.
stage, you can make it work. So that's the, like, again. But for me, it's unreasonable for me to think about doing that again. But it would be very reasonable for someone else. But then they're gonna have to start with what you said. You're gonna put in some time. You're gonna work.
Yes.
There's a lot of times you sitting around and waiting. Okay. But can you do it? And can you commit to showing up, especially when the work gets hard? And that's on any of this.
Yeah.
That's the self-control. Can you continue to push towards the goal,
Yeah.
the achievement? That's the goal, the achievement.
Yeah. Well, this is a good conversation.
Yes, it is. It is. This is a good one.
This is
Like, again, I was laughing when you showed me. I was like, I sent you a picture.
yeah. This is really good. So hopefully, as we always say, hopefully this has added some value and gave you some points for consideration for your own transformation as you move forward through life. And especially when it comes to being unreasonable, because today we were talking about the unreasonable attitude of achievement. And we want everyone to have a high level yield of productivity on achievement, whatever it is, because it's there for you to have. But you have to put yourself in, you have to position well. Let me put it like that. You really have to position well. And that's why we're here.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. And to piggyback, what you're saying is exactly that. We have to put ourselves in that position And also, the self-discipline, the self-control, and the self-awareness,
Mm.
the self-awareness. And you'll get to these amazing levels, you know.
I was trying to come up with a cute acronym, but I kept coming back
You
to
can't, yeah, self is everything. And I think it's can be applied to life in general, whatever
yeah.
it is you're doing. Okay.
Mhm.
Whatever if using these blueprints, tools will allow you to achieve the being you instead of constantly doing you. So if you
Mm.
funnel this thing in, you're right there, the being you.
Well, until next week, Tamiko.
Until next week, everybody be blessed, be your best, and have fun. All right? And have fun.